Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty southpaws.
With Canelo Alvarez, Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boost is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout?
It's like it's honest, but again, I want to see them fight. I want to see some aggression. Tank would have that if it was anyone he actually felt was worth it. I just don't know if he thinks Jake's worth it. Again, I get that feeling that he just is.
All right, guys, listen up, because today we're diving straight into one of the most heated debates in boxing history. The question is bold, raw, and sparks fire every time. Who takes the crown in a head-to-head showdown? Terrence Bud Crawford or Floyd Money Mayweather in his prime? We're not here for sugar-coated answers. This is pure analysis, cold facts, and a little bit of ruthless truth.
In terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty.
Now, Mayweather wasn't just a fighter, he was a walking fortress. Undefeated, unbroken, untouchable. Critics called him boring, but only because they couldn't hit him. Floyd's defensive wizardry was unmatched. He turned the sweet science into an art form. And make no mistake, anyone who stepped into that ring with him was forced to play his game, not the other way around. That's domination on another level.
Shakur Stevenson reached out to Jake Paul in support of him preparing for Gervonta Davis. Help me understand, what is the difference between Boots Ennis reaching out to Canelo Alvarez in support of his preparation for Terrence Crawford versus Shakur Stevenson reaching out to Jake Paul in preparation for his fight with Gervonta Davis? Tell me, what is the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. The Ennis family actually had a relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boost is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout? I don't want to hear anything about this fight. It's against a YouTuber. It doesn't matter. No, Shakur Stevenson is an elite level fighter that is going to be a sparring partner to a YouTuber, and he reached out to him directly to make it happen?
But let's not pretend Terrence Crawford is some ordinary contender. Crawford is a savage. He doesn't just beat opponents, he dismantles them. Switch hitting, relentless pressure, and knockout power that can end fights in a flash. He's not waiting for you to make a mistake, he's hunting you down. Fans see Crawford as the modern boogeyman of boxing, and that reputation isn't hype, it's cold reality earned in the ring.
You blame a man for taking that opportunity because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault him for that?
It's two sides of that. Like,
okay.
It just depends. Like, as a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and then the Jake Paul fight is presented, you may not make as much money, or the fight may not be as lucrative as it was before you lost. So as a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man,
your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
Fighter with my integrity.
Yeah, but isn't there a price for everything, Shakur? Like, even if you did had a draw with somebody and you were offered 10 times more than you ever, I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot more than he's ever.
Here's where the fire really ignites. Floyd had the resume: Oscar de la Hoya, Canelo Alvarez, Manny Pacquiao, legends stacked on legends. But Crawford? He's been tearing through divisions, forcing everyone to acknowledge his dominance. And when you compare skill sets, it's not just about defense versus offense. It's about who controls the pace, who breaks the other man mentally, and who refuses to fold under pressure.
Southpaw orthodox matchup, left hand down the pipe. You can even see here, I'm not even trying to do the whole body language breakdown, but you could even see Tank could get under that left hand because he's 5-0. He could roll under that left hand, and here comes the brick hand over the top. If he lands something like that in 10 ounces, I'm going to tell you this. Jake's 200 and something pounds. That's still going to hurt at the very least, and who knows what, because Tank's got ridiculous power. So Jake, a little sloppy on the push there. He got pushed. He wanted to get it back. There's something to be taken away from that, but lines up perfectly for a counter left hand. And you even see his promoter here is kind of grabbing his left hand because Tank wanted to let it fly. And Jake backed up a little bit. He said, oh, and Tank comes with that. Tank, man. Tank said, where I'm from, the bullies get bullied. All right, dude, there you go. Listen, takeaways from this thing, I don't know. Tank seemed to have a little bit more energy today. He seemed to be more lively. Him going back and forth with the media, with Jay Leon, with Jake, with Aiden Ross. There seemed to be a bit more energy today. That's all I really asked for. So in terms of, selling us on something, sure. Better job today from both guys. Jake, seemed a bit more locked in here with Tank as well. They had a little bit more fun. Tank going after Nikisa was pretty funny. But listen, this doesn't change anything in my mind. The 10-ounce gloves doesn't really change anything to me. I mean, again, I think that's a bad idea for Tank, more so because even if Jake doesn't land clean, those are 10-ounce gloves, still going to hurt. Tank is still punching in gloves that are 2 ounces heavier than he normally uses, so I don't know how that's a win for him. The $2 million bet almost certainly won't happen, which I didn't think would in the first place, but Tank pretty much confirmed it. And we're all left with the same kind of idea that we thought about this to begin with. This is an entertainment exhibition that we know is going to draw a ton of eyeballs. I'm going to watch, and there's going to be great high-level competition boxing on the underneath card. And even in the main event, if something is to happen, if someone is to get knocked out, it will go mega viral, and both these guys are going to make a shit.
All right, guys, picture this fight. Floyd's shoulder roll working overtime, catching punches and frustrating Crawford. But Bud doesn't fight like the others. He adapts mid-fight, changes stance, and throws power shots from angles Floyd never saw coming. This isn't a chess match where Floyd leisurely dictates the board, it's a dogfight. Crawford is willing to take risks, and sometimes that's exactly what it takes to topple a king.
Particular in the press conference, and you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson. First of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I got to say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault.
Let's not twist it. Floyd's stamina and discipline were legendary. 12 rounds of laser-sharp focus, no slip-ups, no breakdowns. But Crawford is cold-blooded. He smells weakness like a shark in the water. You heard him? He comes back twice as brutal. Floyd may never have faced someone with that exact mentality, someone who doesn't just want to outpoint him but wants to break his will and put him on the canvas.
Tank Davis stops that. If he is the one who stops this whole train, knocking out Jake Paul, he will become a boxing hero. People will then say, now get the hell out the sport. And I'm talking about from a fighter's perspective. That's what they're going to say. Now, it's not going to go on either one of their official records because it's an exhibition, but it doesn't matter because optically, visually, seeing that go viral, and I mean go viral, and Jake Paul will never hear the end of it.
We're gonna help you up. We're gonna go ahead and help you up. We're gonna see about it. Help you up. We're gonna see.
Because Gervonta Tank Davis is not only a real boxer, he's a real boy. He's 5'5". He's a lightweight. Skills pay the bills. Let him knock out Jake Paul, give him Bambi legs, or knock him down. Gervonta Tank Davis, that moment will go viral, and he will be a far bigger, well-known boxer than he is today, and he will also be a hero. And that's the Black Two Sugars. That you guys don't want to admit it. Don't bull jive. Think about it. He will be a boxing hero. It will go viral over and over. It's the same thing. No, not even the same. It's not even close, but there was a viral reaction when AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou.
Anthony Joshua can dispose champion.
When AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou in the first round, it was...
The analysts are split, and honestly, they should be. Some argue Floyd's flawless defense would neutralize Bud's aggression. Others claim Crawford's power and adaptability would eventually corner Floyd, leaving him vulnerable for the first time in his career. That's the beauty of this debate. It's not clear-cut. It's a clash of styles, philosophies, and eras. That's why fans keep coming back to this question again and again. 626 to 720. Alright guys, here's the raw truth. Mayweather was untouchable in his time. He built a fortress nobody cracked. But Crawford brings firepower Floyd never faced at welterweight. This fight isn't about legacy, it's about survival. Could Floyd's defense survive Crawford's storm? Or would Bud finally be the one to break through?
Say that it ain't fixed, because check this out. Tank ain't gonna lose this fight. Hell no. Hell no. Tank ain't losing this fight. Too many holes. Man, Jake don't have enough experience. Yeah, man, this gonna be taking candy from a baby. You know, Jake is missing the rules. See, this what happened when you don't grow up in the game. When you don't grow up in the game, man, at a young age, this is what happens. You know, you start reading your own press clippings. That's what Jake is doing. You know, fighting this lower level competition, and now he think he them ish. Now he think he the man. He ain't the man. You kidding me? He is not the man. Oh no. Yeah. False sense of security. Now he trying to pick on small folks, right? You know, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Yeah, I'm just saying size-wise. Yeah, that's another thing, boxing one-on-one. You can't pay attention to size. Hell no, I told y'all it's the size of the heart, right? In that damn dog. It ain't the size of the damn dog, and I told y'all that, man. Yeah, it's the same thing here. And it's about the smartest dog. Tank too smart for him. Tank got too much boxing IQ for Jake, man. This gonna be easy. Easy. Like I said, man, Tank, please. Please, man. Don't do this to boxing, bro. If there's anything, man, shoot. Man, we can put together some...
These are the kinds of matchups boxing fans dream of, the ones that make your pulse race just imagining them. 721 to 815. Some will swear Floyd wins, point by point, round by round. Others will die on the hill that Crawford has what it takes to shatter that perfect record. The truth? We'll never know for sure, and maybe that's what makes this debate so electric. Hypothetical or not, this fantasy matchup forces us to look at greatness from two different angles: technical mastery versus raw, destructive adaptability. 816 to 910. So, let's wrap this up. In the end, this debate isn't about hating one fighter or glorifying the other. It's about appreciating two different shades of greatness. Mayweather, the untouchable genius. Crawford, the ruthless hunter. Two men who redefined boxing in their own eras. And whether you're screaming Floyd all day, or chanting Bud would crush him, one thing is undeniable: this is a fight we'd all pay anything to witness.